good.
Feeling good.
Good is good, dude.
Yeah, I've had a good day today. I do feel good. I'm ready to get into this.
Okay.
Yeah, it's time to start another week of Question Quest.
All right.
All right, man. So, my question for you this week. Let's get comfortable. If you had one question, what would you ask your future self?
That's a really good question that is going to take a minute to think through and maybe talk through here.
Well, we can break it down into like the type of questions you would ask before you kind of narrow down what actual question you would ask.
Right. So future self.
Also, I'll let you choose how far into the future you want to choose to ask this question to. Like, do you just want to go 10 years in the future and ask like a little bit older you, or do you want to go like full blown like adult, like 50, 60-year-old man? Like, what did you do to get to where you are now, whether it's a good place or a bad place?
Right. And that's a really good intermediary question, because it's like, what am I looking to gain here? If I want some like deep, insightful stuff about my life and how I could possibly alter it one way or the other, it's like you'd want to go older. But then at the same time, it's like, if I choose that older self, it's like, hypothetically, let's say like I live like a really good life, and it's like through the information that's told to me, I might pick a different path.
Yeah, that was actually another thing I was thinking I was going to bring up about this question is, yes, you get to ask yourself, like your future self, a question. But what if you decided to go with your future self that's 20 years into the future and he's homeless, just down on his luck, and then you get to ask him a question, but you get to go back to your time and being like, oh, crap, 20 years from now, I'm supposed to be homeless, living in a gutter.
You could change it.
You could change
it. It'd be
it.
the opposite, right?
Or what I'm getting at is like, that could mess with you mentally.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's true.
You do have, yes, obviously you do got the opportunity to change it, because you'll be like, oh, I know where I'm supposed to be in 20 years. Let's not be there in 20 years. But at the same time, you come back being like, crap, in 20 years, I'm going to be homeless. This isn't good. Yeah. And now it's just like a ticking time clock of when you're going to be homeless.
Yeah, I think for me that would give me optimism, being that it's like, all right, I know I can change.
That's true.
But that's a really good point. Like, say you pick, all right, I'm going to talk to 60-year-old me. Then it's like, listen, son, man, there's a war that comes. You get drafted. Like, all this shit's going to go down. You come home, you get a divorce, like all kinds of crazy shit. Or it could be on the other end where it like tells you all this positive stuff. But it's like, even if it's positive or negative, do I want to know how that trajectory was going? Or do I want it to be a surprise, something to anticipate, right? So if I want it to be a surprise, maybe I'd ask myself like 5 years down, like 5 year older than me, it's like something that's more immediate, like, hey, should I, pursue this, or like, is this a good, like, something along those lines where it's like, it's still helpful, but it's not like.
Yeah, I definitely would not ask my future self something like legit personal. Like, do I get this job, or do I marry this woman, or do I have this amount of, like, I wouldn't ask any of that, because then that's going to make me think like, oh, okay, so I'm supposed to marry this woman, I'm supposed to have this job, I'm supposed to have this amount of kids, like, and if that doesn't happen, I'll be like, oh, well, I failed my future self. So I would ask something that's just about like society, or just about some events that's going to happen between my time and his time. And
maybe a good way of going about it, where it's kind of in between, is asking like, hey, future self, what's the one piece of wisdom that you want to give me now? So that doesn't talk about the specifics of your life or what choices you make, but gives you like an insight, like, hey, hang on to this, and then like you have an even better path in that timeline.
That is a good point. I was just probably going to ask my future self if the Patriots win another Super Bowl. I gotta know. I'm getting worried.
And your future self's just like, fucking Patriots fans asking stupid questions.
Oh, if I'm not a Patriots fan in the future, I have failed. I don't want to meet my future self if he's not a Patriots fan.
You don't go in fair weather.
That man has probably gone through some shit if he's not a Patriots fan anymore. Or that just means the Patriots have gone through some shit.
What would it take for the Patriots to go through for you to not be a Patriots fan?
I genuinely don't know. It would take a lot. I love that team so much. I don't know. I mean, even losing Brady, I didn't care. I was just like, whatever. You got 6 Super Bowls.
he did pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, like I'm saying, like, yeah, he
Yeah,
did, like, he got
like-
his 6 Super Bowls. Like, I don't need any more from you. Go away.
Yeah, you can be happy
I'm
with
just kidding.
him.
I love Tom Brady. I didn't want him to leave, but it's just at the same time, it was just like, Well, I've been a Patriots fan all my life, and all I've known is winning. Well, what more can I ask for? I can't. There's nothing to ask for in this situation. But now, other than that, I would probably ask about something like probably like the trajectory of entertainment. What is entertainment like in your time?
Right. That question makes a lot of sense because that's like one of your if not your core interest, one of your core interests.
For sure.
And again, I don't know, how would that make you feel? Like, what if he says something completely mind blowing and it spoils it for you?
I mean, I kind of feel it like, obviously I don't know, but I do feel like I have a general idea of where like gaming and movie and TV show will probably be going into the future. But so, I mean, even if it's something that I anticipated, I mean, it's whatever. I feel like I got a general idea of what might happen. So even if I get told anything, I don't think it would be like, damn it, I wish you hadn't have told me that. But because, I mean, I feel like eventually we're going to get to the point where you can play like Call of Duty and like a full blown like running VR simulation chamber thing where you're like actually holding a gun and like the whole 9 yards. I feel like that's going to be the point for like in like 20, 25 years or so.
Yeah, dude, we're entering the metaverse. Do you see that with Facebook?
Yeah, why?
I don't even want to dive into that right now, but it's just a note, like, you know how hateful people are on Facebook and how divisive it is? They're trying to be a people-first company. They're literally trying to create reality, Facebook reality, where you would go in and, like, they would basically...
Wait, they're trying to create, like, the Oasis from...
They're creating the metaverse. They're creating a meta reality where we'll all interact within, like, a virtual space and create an...
You just, like, put on your Oculus
Yes.
and you just hop into the metaverse and be
Yep.
like, yo, what's up, Jimmy?
Yeah.
Haven't seen you since high school.
Yep. They're trying to create an economy within that.
Oh, my God.
They're trying to create an economy within that. So Facebook is creating a reality essentially where they're going to have, whether they want control over it or not, they can try to be as hands off as possible, but they're influencing a set of reality that they're going to have control over in a certain sense. And just think of the level of hate and divisiveness of what played out over the past year and how those it wasn't proliferated alone on Facebook, but Facebook was like a key ingredient.
Oh, yeah.
Like, how do you think a meta reality is going to work out?
Oh, God. I don't think that's going to be well. Because, like, even just getting into the, like, what am I trying to say? Like, virtual reality world where you can just put on your goggles and you're interacting with people all across the world in this whole, like, full-blown body experience world. It can be fun if you don't include it with social media. Because that's not a good combination. Doing it for, like, in a video game sense is a way better idea than trying to do it to where you can just communicate and keep up with people.
Yeah.
I don't think that... I feel like that'll probably actually die out. I don't think that'll pop off that much, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's going to evolve into whatever works. Like, right, they're going to continue to cater it and figure out what works to pull people in.
Gotta
and
go
yeah,
with
like,
the business.
The thing about video games that makes them great is, like, there's a certain freedom aspect to it. Of course, there's like a tailored story to it, but there's, like, a sense of freedom that comes along with, like, video games, essentially, or even getting lost in entertainment. Whereas if we're creating a virtual world where there's some kind of external control and we're creating an economy within that reality, it's yeah, I can see it being more of like more likely a hostile or stressful kind of environment opposed to something that we would ideally want.
Yeah.
But
I think I have a new question for my future self, though. Like, does Mark Zuckerberg take over the world? Because it feels like this is where it's going. I mean, he's just going to wait for the day that half the American population puts on their goggles to go talk to their next door neighbor, who's legitimately their next door neighbor, but they're using their goggles to talk to him. And then he's just going to flip a switch and everybody's just going to start marching down the street.
He's got that smart Nazi game there. Yeah.
It would be...
Doesn't even have to do speeches. He just flips a switch.
That is the problem with asking your future self a question is because of where we're going right now, the future's going to suck.
It could be. I mean, that's us putting our projection onto it, right?
That's true, yeah.
I mean, it definitely has great possibility to suck.
I think
it has good possibility to be great, too.
Well, I think our future's going to suck.
Tell me more, dude.
Well, yeah, I think that we are the start of where
What do you mean by we? Are you talking about you and I, or are you talking about like okay.
you and I, like our age group.
Okay, our generation.
Yeah. Our generation. Yes. No, I think because I think we are the start of the downturn, and then our future is going to be the downturn, and then like the next generation of, like our kids, our grandkids, the generation after that, they're going to be the upturn of the utopia. But we are going to, and for our kids, for the most part, if we have kids, who knows, will experience the downturn, and then after that, it'll be a utopia. I genuinely think our future is going to be the downturn before it gets better, because that's what they always say. It's going to get worse before it gets better, and I think we're hitting the worst.
It's hard to say, man. It's. I agree with that. I think everything moves in waves. I think that's like actually like a facet of reality in a sense, is like things oscillate, but that oscillation is continually moving upward, right? So like there's always a positive baseline, but there has to be negative for you to like experientially understand a positive. So I can see that like if it were to be the time where there was going to be a downfall and then the rise, and like essentially we're going through globalization, so that it would be a world utopia feel. I mean, like maybe I don't know if it's just like so many variables at this point. Like we wouldn't know, but like I could see that being a possibility. I
think that's just kind of the trajectory, and I'm not genuinely sure what would pull us out of that trajectory, because I know it sounds very bleak and like pessimistic, glass half empty, but I definitely can't see anything pulling us to where we won't hit the bottom, like before it hits the top. In that way.
I mean, for me, it's just like there's too many open variables. Like we could kind of like think about how it could go downhill, but who knows, dude? We could be at the point where, and like it's like things aren't necessarily going bad. I don't think right now. Well, it's very okay.
It's not terrible. It's just definitely worse comparatively the past 10 years, I believe. I think just in general, all across the board. I'm not trying to poke fun or scrutinize one aspect of life. I'm talking all aspects, I believe, have decreased since 2010.
Interesting.
I don't think anything has gotten better since 2016. I genuinely think everything has gotten a little bit worse since then.
I don't think everything's gotten better. And I think, what we experienced last year kind of being an anomaly where there was a lot of negativity and things were kind of popping off.
Yeah.
Can bring that focus in, but simultaneously I feel like we're still trending in it.
Yeah, I mean, we're not in any like danger of a dystopia. I'm just saying, like, I just think that genuinely like worst case scenario, it's just going to be like more a militant state of the country than really anything else. Like I don't think they're going to be, like any type of dystopia, like apocalyptic type stuff or anything where the government has full-blown control over everything, but just like I wouldn't be surprised if 10 years from now we start seeing legit army patrols down the street.
There's some deer out there. I don't know if you can see that. Yeah.
Oh, I do. They're emerging from the woods.
There are 4 of them.
But yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if 10 years from now, if it's just become a commonplace to see like a military patrol down the street. And like, big cities. And not in like the boondocks of Montana. But like New York City, Chicago, Detroit, LA, Atlanta, all the big cities. I could see that happening.
Well, you can ask your future self about it.
I will. That probably will be that might actually be my question. How much control does the government have between now and when I turn 75? That might be my question.
Yeah.
Have you got one yet? Like an actual... Has any of this talking through process actually helped to figure out a question for you?
Yeah,
is it raining?
I think it is raining.
Oh, shit.
But yeah, I think that... So through that process, I know that I probably wouldn't want personal details from my life.
Yeah, I agree.
Unless my future self like really felt it was important to tell me for whatever reason, but I wouldn't ask, right?
Yeah, I would let them bring it to the table first. Because I would hope my future self is smart enough to know that I don't actually want to know anything about you personally. No offense.
Yeah.
If it's future me, he's probably an asshole.
I mean, the future predicts the present, or present predicts the future, whatever. Anyway, I think based off of what you just said, I wouldn't want to know anything about society either. unless that's brought up. It's another one of those things where if like I know we're going to a totalitarian state, it's like that's going to be on my focal point, and then I'm going to be super neurotic. But you know what I mean? So like I don't think I would go there. I think it would be like, looking back on our life. Be a weird question to ask. Looking back on our life, what would be the one piece of advice that I should hang on to, and you just have that, because that could be a guiding principle that helps in a bunch of different areas without knowing. Like, I personally like not knowing. Like, I like the novelty of things.
I understand. Yeah, I get what you're saying.
So like, I wouldn't want to know any details.
Yeah, getting the broad advice, like life advice from your future self, is not a bad idea. I know. I kind of do want to know a little bit about society. I don't think it would like deter. I don't think it would deter how I would live my life if I knew that society's fucked in 10 years. I'd just be like, whatever.
You say that, then you have a fucking bunker out back. And I'm like, right.
Well, I mean, like, if it was like, okay, if I talk to my future self and he's like, all right, in 14 years the nukes are dropping. We had the idea of the shed. I went ahead and put it into effect. And then in 20 years, that's when the zombies come. That's when I would panic. If he told me something like that. But if he's just like, yeah, Chicago just sucks even more now, I'd be like, okay, cool. I figured that. Yeah. Or like New York has like become a giant prison city. I'd be like, okay, yeah. I actually think that'll happen. I think New York will get turned into a prison city.
Man, you got some
I got some wild.
You got some neurotic future situations.
It's not a conspiracy. That's just a prediction. Yeah, I genuinely think I think one of the big cities, it might be Chicago because Chicago's a shithole, but either New York or something, one of those big cities, I think will be turned into a police or a prison city. I mean, they did it with Australia. The entire country of Australia was a prison.
Yeah.
So I think eventually we'll turn a giant city into one.
I hope not, man. That'd be
I mean,
crazy.
yeah, I hope we don't have that many people in the prison system to where we have to turn somewhere like New York into a prison, but you never know.
Yeah, I feel like it would be a city that's like very not prominent, like if we turn New York. But I understand what you're saying.
Yeah.
I understand what you're saying.
It's like a last ditch effort. Like, we got to put them somewhere type thing. Or we shoot them into space, put a prison off in space.
Ooh, I like that. Prison space. You just let it float around the...
it just orbits the Earth.
Yeah, it's like where you're escaping to.
Yeah. It's like, good luck with a prison escape. The only way you would be able to escape is if, like, you could hijack a
pod that sends you back.
Or one of the ships that's, like, bringing supplies. Because it's not like they're just going to have 40 spaceships just docked, just waiting. There probably wouldn't be a single spaceship on that thing. If that whole thing was just full of prisoners, I wouldn't take that risk. I wouldn't put a single spaceship on there.
Yeah.
Everybody's got to come up in one shuttle and one shuttle only. Just got to do round trips, buddy. We're burning a lot of gas, but that's okay.
Oh, man.
But yeah, I think our future's going to be okay, though, man.
Yeah, I think it's going to be. I think it all, like I was saying, even if things oscillate, it all ultimately gets a little bit more positive. So.
Yeah, and also,
I mean, even if...
How much is it genuinely going to affect us?
That's what do you mean?
Well, I mean,
like,
I feel like, everybody's made such a big deal about the past 2 elections, and honestly, the 2 elections haven't affected me whatsoever.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty peripheral. I mean, the effects, I guess, of different things.
That's what I'm just trying to get at. It's
like,
it might be a big deal for the broadness of society, but like for individuals, it's probably not. It's not going to be that bad.
Yeah, I think it'll be fine. And even if it's not, we can get lost in Mark Zuckerberg's metaverse.
That's true.
Like, try that out. So, yeah, man.
I definitely want to meet my future self, though, just for. What would you do if you were just chilling in your room and like a hooded figure and like another version of you popped in your room and you're like, yeah, and if you choose this option, this is what happens to you, and then they just like fuck off and you're just like, whoa, dude. What did I do? What did I do?
Oh, man.
How much of a mind fuck would that be? You're like, this is the bad version of you, don't be like him.
Oh, God. Yeah, that would be...
And you're like, dude, I thought I was doing good. It's like, I
shit.
haven't been arrested. Haven't OD'd on anything. Like, I got a house.
Yeah.
got friends. I've got a stable job. What did I do? What did I do?
Oh man, that'd be wild. That would be wild.
Yeah. This was good. I like this question.
Yeah, I mean,
This was another good broadening out to other aspects than just the general question, which I like to do. I think that should kind of be like our MO going forward. It's like we got one question, but let's really branch it into just all aspects of that question.
Absolutely, man. That's what the question quest is all about, dude.
Yeah. And
That's what makes it an adventure.
And I'd say so far we've gone on 3 very successful quests.
Yeah.
We've done more episodes, but 3 of them.
A-okay.
Yeah, I like them. I like them.
All right, man.
All right.
Yeah.
Well,
I think that was a good thought experiment there. Feeling pretty good about my answer.
yeah, I'm feeling sparks, some gears turning.
Your 2 neurons are talking to each other right now.
All right. Well, thank you for joining this week. That has been Question Quest.